everybody to today's Bible study. And our topic is a continuation from last week, Follow Christ Part 2. Our reading is from Matthew 8:19 to 22. I'll reread our text again. And a certain scribe came and said unto him, Master, I will follow thee whithersoever thou goest. And Jesus said unto him, The foxes have holes, the birds of the air have nests, but the Son of Man had not where to lay his head. And another of the disciples said unto him, Lord, suffer me first to go and bury my father. But Jesus said unto him, Follow me, and let the dead bury their dead. So last week, may the Lord bless the reading of his word. Last week we looked at the meaning of follow, the meaning of what it means to follow Christ, what Jesus Christ teaches us on spiritual alertness and multitude assessment. We looked at the core pillars of said assessment and how to apply it in multitude assessment, especially when you are looking at what does this mean with the number of people, multitude, numerical strength, and what the opportunity provides us with managing crowds and ministry strategy. We also looked at the strength and the opportunity this assessment gives us, and the weakness or the risk also that the data we get from this assessment gives us. And then we looked again at what this means for us, for those who, the prediction of a great harvest of souls, and of course in relation to the spiritual growth of new converts. And we also even looked at how this applies to us in our places of work and in our relationships. So that's basically what we covered last week. So let's look again before we go deeper. What is the meaning of follow? To follow means to move, to proceed, to come after someone or something. Oftentimes people express a desire to follow before they do take the action. So when you look at the follow expression, before a person actually makes up their mind to express the desire to follow either an individual, the particular individual must have been outstanding, or maybe they are relatable, they are worthy of emulation, and the follower as such aims to emulate any or all of these attributes. As such, the desire or the decision to follow a role model or a figure it comes from the desire to follow by relating closely, understudying and copying the admired figure. There are levels of followership, and if you remember last week we talked about, do you want to be a part of the multitude that is seeking miracles, or do you want to be in close discipleship with Christ, with God? So there are levels of followership. There's the entry point. This is starting from the basics. You have no previous tutelage from the said role model. In this case, it's Christ, right? So you can see it in Matthew 8:19. And a certain scribe came and said unto him, Master, I will follow thee wheresoever thou goest. We can kind of categorize that as someone who is at the entry point. Now let's look at another level of followership, advanced level. The scripture reveals something unique that gives clarity on the concept of advanced level fellowship. And let's look at what that is. If we go further, let's look at Matthew 8:21. And another of his disciples said unto him, Lord, suffer me first to go and bury my father. Why? Having been blessed by following Jesus Christ partially, the disciple that is now in the advanced level has decided to absolutely follow Jesus Christ without distraction or divided attention or interest. This disciple has been blessed by the persona and the acts of Christ, and this informs his decision to be more involved. So we see the second person wants to shift now into an advanced level of followership. So if you're with your manual, let's just move to the third page and let's move on. So we're going to look at the wrong human perception on the follow concept. We've looked at the follow concept. We've looked at the levels of the follow concept. So let's look at, while it is novel to express your decision to follow Jesus Christ like the two men, It is wrong to think that, number one, it's the decision you make without getting to know the terms and conditions involved. And I do recall, I don't know if anybody remembers, we had a video, I think towards the ending of last year, where God really broke down what it takes, the terms and conditions of what it takes to follow Christ. I think so. Yeah, we had a video like that. I do recall that. So you can't make the decision to follow Christ without understanding the terms and conditions. The scribe did not ask about the rules of following Jesus Christ, nor the terms and conditions. Again, the second wrong human perception on the follow concept is the disciple revealed through his expression to be more committed, that his perception of followership it can be done on full or part-time basis. Definitely such a person can not follow well, because further fellowship is one that you cannot opt in or opt out of anytime. So the next point is following Christ does not stop one from engaging in the world system and practices. So these 2 points I just made, we can infer that this is how the disciple that is trying to follow Christ and commit to Christ, this is how he perceives fellowship. He perceives it as something that can be done either on full-time or part-time, or he views it as something that doesn't stop him from engaging in the worldly system and practices, which is what the scribe that said, okay, let me go and bury my father. That's what this is talking about. And neither of them is actually tenable when you look at following Christ. So let's go now to the divinity standard on following Christ. And the best place to get the standard is from Matthew 8:22. And Jesus said unto him, follow me and let the dead bury their dead. Wow. Now, what does this mean? Let's break down the divinity standard on following Christ. The first thing is, it is a call to all. Following Christ is open to all, regardless of your race, your gender, your color, your age, profession, pedigree, to mention a few. Now, if you look at Exodus 30 verses 11 to 16, it teaches us equality of man before God. There is a universal obligation. Everybody shares the exact same status before the Creator. For instance, the scribe, despite being part of the highly educated professional scholars and theologians of the Jewish society, saw the need to follow Christ. So that is the first thing we can pick from the divinity standard, where it is accessible to all. Any and all people can follow Christ regardless of their status or ability. So the second thing is terms and conditions apply. Like every service or serious engagement, terms and conditions and also services apply. You need to know what it takes to follow Christ. And let's take our reading from Luke 14 verse 26 to 33, and I'm going to read it. I hope we're all there together. If any man come to me and hate not his father, his mother, and his wife, and children, and brethren, and sister, yea, and his own life also, he cannot be my disciple. Whatsoever does not bear his cross, come after me, cannot be my disciple. For which of you, intending to build a tower, sitteth not down first and counted the cost, whether he has sufficient to finish it, lest happy after he had laid the foundation is not able to finish it. All that behold it begin to mock him, saying, this man began to build and was not able to finish. Or what king, going to make war against another king, sitteth not down first and consulted whether he be able with 10,000 to make him that cometh against him with 20,000, or else, while the other is yet a great way off, sendeth an ambassadors and desired conditions of peace. So likewise, whosoever he be of you that forsaketh not all that he had, it cannot be my disciple. So that is the condition. Those are the terms and the conditions as Christ outlines in Luke 14 verse 26 to 33.